Gunread. You're watching Rebel Roundup, our daily news and opinion show. We are using a different platform to broadcast than we normally do today. So we're just going to hang out for about 30 seconds and wait for people to come in because they didn't get the live notification the way they normally get it. Normally, we start the live stream well in advance to give you guys to gather around Auntie Sheila so she could tell you her stories, but we didn't have that today. So we're just going to give everybody a little bit. I am your regular host, and I am joined by my regular Tuesday, Wednesday co host on this beautiful Thursday, my friend Lise Merle from Regina, Saskatchewan. Lise, how's it going?
Hello, my beloved Sheila Gunread, and hi, Rebel fam. It is a beautiful day on the prairies today, so things couldn't be better. And we got a bunch of juicy stories, sort of working their way through the pipeline here at Rebel News, and we just have a fantastic show for you today. The news never stops, and nor do we, and so we just can't wait to dig in to it with you and make sense of this crazy, crazy upside down world that we're all living in right now.
Yeah, and Western separatism is rising,
Ooh,
bubbling, boiling even. Um, I saw some numbers where the numbers are approaching like 47-ish% is what I thought I saw. It's
yeah.
high and it's a lot, and we are as Westerners being told to shut up, sit down. Uh, Big Daddy Carney's got it, and he's an Alberta boy, and he's going to make sure that everything is fine and dandy. Well, we're not doing that, especially here at Rebel News. Wherever you fall down on this issue, whether you are a sovereigntist, a separatist, someone who just thinks you're getting screwed by the feds, um, whether you want to be an independent country, a territory, more sovereignty within Canada, or an American, we're the place to have that conversation. We're including everybody, and the reason I'm saying this is because we are going to beautiful Regina, Saskatchewan on June 2nd, where we are hosting an emergency town hall on sovereignty and separatism and what happens next. Lise, give us the details because I always screw up the name of the place and sound like I'm having a stroke.
It's okay. On Monday, June 2nd, so this is this following Monday at 6 p.m., the people of Saskatchewan are going to be gathering with Rebel News at the Turvey Convention Center on the north end of Regina, and we would love to see you there. The website to get your tickets, which are only $5, just to keep the riffraff out, you can get at donegetingscrewed.com. Head over there, get your $5 ticket, join us on Monday evening at 6 p.m. for a conversation that will unpick some of these complexities so we can all get a really good understanding of where the people of Saskatchewan, where the people of Saskatchewan are at on this issue, because it is a complex issue. We have got a once in a lifetime, once in a generation opportunity to do something really spectacular for ourselves on the prairies. Alberta is a little bit ahead of us, as they tend to do. Alberta's big and bargy and large and in chargey, and
Yeah.
Saskatchewan is more of the sort of chill sister. You know what I mean? We just got some chill, but that doesn't mean that there's not a simmering and really boiling situation happening in Saskatchewan too. From what I hear, every coffee row is talking about this. Every farm gathering, every auction, every place that people are gathering, this is what
Yeah.
they are talking about. And so, join us in Regina on Monday evening, 6 p.m. at the Turvey Center, and we're going to talk about all of these things. Unlike Carla Beck, okay, Carla Beck, leader of the Saskatchewan NDP, who would tell you that you are a traitor, okay, a traitor to the country if you even think about these things, let alone talk about them in public. We're not going to shame you for your opinions. We believe that the people of Saskatchewan and Alberta are smart enough to make their own decisions, and they will make these decisions. So we are just here to help you work it out, and we can't wait to see you on Monday at the Turvey Center in Regina.
Yeah, when there are people who are saying that you can't talk about these things, it's because they know their side doesn't have any good arguments
Arguments. That's
at
right.
all. Like so many people who were reluctant separatists created on April 28th when the liberals were rewarded for their 10 years of corruption and mismanagement and crime, that they said, we tried, we don't see another way, and they're very sad actually. Like there's one lady in one of my videos who starts to cry and she says, yeah, there's no other way, but I wanted my grandkids to grow up in Canada. A lot of people feel that way. There are a lot of people who are like, didn't have to be this way, but we didn't do it. And I want to hear from those people. I want to give them a voice because a lot of people are telling them to sit down and shut up.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, so the sentiment is overwhelmingly, we don't, we don't want to leave Canada, but Canada left us. And
Yeah.
they left us a long time ago. They betrayed us, and so uh, there's a great many people who feel like there is little choice but to make
Yeah.
some really really bold moves in this moment, and we're open to all of those opinions, all of them.
Yeah. If I seem like I am having that stroke every time I try to say the Turvey Center, it's because there's a fly in my studio and he's going to drive me crazy. We've got some videos from Mark Carney and one on this particular issue that we'll get to in a second. But Mark Carney says he plans to address climate change. Specifically, I'm already ready to be embarrassed. Specifically, wildfires at the G7 when he's in Alberta. So he'll be at Kananaskis, which is like a mountain community, sort of Canmore, Banff area, which I think is chosen because it's a manageable location. There's not a lot of ways in and out for people who require a lot of security, like Donald Trump, who has been the subject of at least two assassination attempts. Anyways, Carney says that the wildfires, climate change is going to be a real issue. Let's hear it.
Does the Prime Minister recognize the existence of climate change? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, yes, of course, the climate crisis exists. And it's a major challenge facing our nation. And that's why Canada needs to become an energy superpower, both in traditional and green energy. And that's why in Alberta at the G7 next month, we will be holding a discussion on forest fires.
Are
What do
are they
forest
gonna?
fires have to do with climate change, by the way?
Well,
It's
are
a
they
natural cycle of the forest.
are they going to talk about their own negligence? Are they going to
Yeah,
talk about their own negligence and
right.
park mismanagement that make the forest fires exponentially worse? They're going to
Right.
talk about that. They're going to talk about their complicity. I
Yeah.
bet not. I bet they're just going to blame it on the climate, on climate change, and how
Yeah.
using fossil fuels are making all of this worse. I bet that's what they're. I bet that's the stance they're going to take.
Completely, Ed. One of our national parks burned, uh, 30% of the town, mostly residential area, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This would have been like mismanaging the pyramids into their destruction. Like, let's put it on that scale. That's what a UNESCO World Heritage Site means. The Liberals mismanaged that for years, resulting in a fire that they could not contain because they turned away firefighters, didn't manage the pine beetle caused fuel load in the forest because it was unsightly to mechanically clear, and they put in the wrong fire hydrants. So
Oh,
they're
this is the
oh,
best part of the story. Tell them about that. Tell them about that.
so not only did they turn away expert wildland firefighters who were also trained in residential firefighting, they and they didn't allow the pumper trucks to pull water out of the rivers and the lakes because environment, but they put in fire hydrants in that town that only Hinton, so the next town to the east, could help with. So their pumper trucks could only hook to those. So you were limited by the firefighting capacity of Hinton. When you had all these firefighters descending, the Alberta government trying to help, did anybody ever stop to think that fire started in the park, raged in the park, and ended once it exited the park? Why?
Mhm.
Because of proper fire management and the forest outside of the park, managed by the provincial government and forestry companies. Inside the park, Stephen Guilbeault's problem. And yet they're going to take the G7 and the fires from last year, and of course the ones from this year too, um, to, I don't know, talk about how they're going to carbon tax us in new and creative ways because the old creative way became so unpalatable for Canadians.
Mhm. Yeah, Saskatchewan is also raging with forest fires right now.
Yep.
Up north, past the tree line, past Prince
Same.
Albert. A pilot friend of mine posted a photo of a 75-kilometer wide fire that's raging in those beautiful lake areas of Saskatchewan. So it really is unfortunate, but it begs the question: who's managing this? Who's managing these forests before it gets to this critical point?
Yeah.
So.
And it's almost like this stuff has nothing to do with weather and everything to do with artificially suppressing fires in the forest, right? Like Swan Hills, it's like cyclical. It's like every 10 years it burns there. Foster Creek right now, so major oil and gas facility, is sort of being licked by fire.
Mhm.
Fort McMurray, constantly. But this is what you get when you are live in the forest. When you live and work in the boreal forest, you're exposed to fires that you wouldn't normally be exposed to. It's not to say that the fires aren't there. The fires are always there. What's new
Mhm.
is us there. And but apparently it's my comfortable SUV in the driveway that's doing all the damage. Let's move ahead. Conservative MP, and I love to say this phrase, Conservative MP Andrew Lawton rips the Liberal government for decimating Canada's energy sector. Let's listen and cheer for Andrew in his first statement in the House of Commons.
The Liberals claim they want to make Canada an energy superpower, but they forget it's their record over the last decade that has decimated our energy sector and kept our resources in the ground. Their oil and gas production cap will kill tens of thousands of jobs and cost our economy $20 billion. Their industrial carbon tax will cost Canadian businesses and consumers and make Canada less affordable and less competitive. Their legislation, Bill C-69, is blocking energy infrastructure and making us more dependent on the United States. The solution is easy. Will the Prime Minister repeal Liberals' costly anti-energy laws?
The Honourable Minister of Industry and Canadian Economic Development.
Thank you. I would like to thank first and foremost the constituents from Huntsic-Cartierville. Merci à tous les citoyens d'Huntsic-Cartierville. Know that we are in a trade war that has been launched by the US. And we know that hardworking Canadians are feeling the grunt of this trade war, particularly in the manufacturing sector, particularly in the auto, steel, aluminum sectors. And we continue to fight for them. That's why we will make sure that we invest in them, that we work on making sure that we attract the investments across the world while making sure that we grow the fastest economy of the G7.
What is she talking about? Like, she didn't even remotely address the question. Also, didn't mention canola farmers being hammered by tariffs, but that's inconvenient. That's the best the Liberals can serve up. And Andrew is a conservative backbencher. And Andrew would be he would be like a junior cabinet minister in a Poilievre government. Instead, because Toronto votes the way it does, he's sitting in the backbench, and that is a shame.
Yeah. Well, if he continues with performances like that,
Woo!
which was brilliant, by the way. I mean, he just put his foot on the gas pedal and gave her. He's not going to be a backbencher for long. But I agree. The way that she pivoted away from exactly what he was talking about to something completely unrelated, that is insane. I mean, this is a sham. I mean, what the Liberals are doing is a shell game. They are taking our legitimate concerns, especially from Western Canada, and pivoting it to Ontario-centric issues. And we just saw a perfect example of that there.
Right, exactly. But even she couldn't keep it in the lane because no matter what, you can't get away from Liberal failures. So when she's talking about, we want to make Canada competitive for investment, you know what doesn't make Canada competitive for oil and gas investment? Bill C-69. That's why there's no west-east pipeline being proposed,
Mhm.
because nobody is going to propose one. Lay down billions of dollars while that piece of garbage legislation that's standing out in the field like a scarecrow, shooing all the investment to North Dakota, Texas, Oklahoma, Algeria, Iraq,
Mhm.
all
And
the friendlier places of the world when it comes to oil and gas investment.
yep, and they also gave Quebec veto power over an eastern
And BC.
pipeline. Yes.
And BC.
And all of the stakeholder groups that they would involve in this. Part of the reason why it's so difficult to get our product to market is because of the regulatory burden that the Liberal Party and the government of Canada has unfairly and disproportionately insisted Western industries must abide by. If it's not, it just seems to us that if it is not an Ontario or Eastern, aka liberal supporting industry, well, then you don't get a seat at the table, and it's no wonder that Western separatism is increasing the way it is.
Yeah. I realize we have some complaints about my mic levels, and
Sorry.
no, it's me. Uh, uh, P Schofield 10 gives us $5 just to complain about my mic levels, and I appreciate you for that. I realize we tried it yesterday. I'm just gonna keep my face plugged into the
You
microphone.
know what? I'm going to move my microphone away. And we'll
Yours
see
is
if that-
fine. It's me. I'm too low, and it's the software that we use. I struggle to get my mic level right without any sort of like squelching and feedback with this software that we're using. But
Mhm.
hopefully by next week everything will be remedied, and I appreciate
Yeah.
everybody
Sorry, guys.
dealing
Just
with us.
bear with us. Bear with
Uh,
us while we figure these things out. Yeah.
I'll talk louder. Now we talked about Western separatism off the top of the show. I'm still having that stroke. Um, Mark Carney is asked about his views on Western separation as an Alberta boy, as he likes to paint himself. So let's hear from him. He's shoving us out the door while pretending to be the guy pulling us back into the country. Oh, it's David
This
Cochrane.
in Alberta, there's a possibility of a referendum next year. I mean,
Look,
how do you approach it?
this is the greatest country in the world, and this is a country that works. It's a government that's committed to working with Canadians across the country. And I know you're pressed for time now. You're pressed for time. None of us are both pressed for time. I got things to do. We got projects to build. But I was born just north of the oil sands. I grew up just south of the oil sands. When I was born, the oil sands was a concept. And it was the ingenuity of many Albertan engineers and entrepreneurs, and the partnership between the federal government and the provincial government that made the oil sands what they are. This is what we need today. We need all of the actors, private sector, we need research, we need scientists, we need the federal and provincial governments working together. And what's going to happen, and I do feel that this spirit is building, is that we're going to see the projects we're talking about aren't just contained within one province. So it needs multiple provinces, it needs Indigenous partners. And the only way to get it, in my view, is to recognize what a moment that we are in, the need for ambition, the need to work together. And I tell you, David, you saw some of this, I'm sure, in your coverage. I traveled across this great country over the course of the last several months. That's what Canadians want. We're going to go to the wall to get it.
What a BS artist. The federal government very damn near killed the oil sands. It was, in fact, the Alberta government, but which by and large gave the oil sands a royalty holiday until they figured out how to get it out of the ground in a way that was financially viable, that made it happen. This is the feds taking credit for things that happened in Alberta again. We can't get our oil to market thanks to them, which means we cannot develop our oil and gas sector as quickly and as robustly as we would like. We can't get approvals on major projects, or they overreach into provincial jurisdiction to say that, oh, no, we have the final say on your major projects. The gall of this guy to claim, oh, I was born in Alberta, so all of a sudden I'm pro oil and gas. That doesn't fly. We only have to look at Rachel Notley as an example of that.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Saskatchewan's coal sector. So
Yeah.
they damn near killed Saskatchewan's coal sector. Told us that they were phasing, and this is responsible for the economic prosperity of a great many thousands of people in Saskatchewan Southeast by saying they were phasing it out by, I think, 2035, and the government of Saskatchewan had to come in and overrule them and just say, no, we're just gonna mine coal until there is no coal to
Yeah.
mine anymore.
Nice.
But when he talks about ambition and he talks about the need for having to work together, what he's doing is signaling to especially the Western provinces that he's got a plan, that he's going to come in and he's going to fix. Well, it was because of his party that we are in this position to begin with.
Right.
And so without acknowledging that it was because of their bad policy that we find ourselves in this really precarious position where all of our natural resources are landlocked and locked up in regulations that the federal government forces upon us. The actors that he says we need for everybody to get involved, the private sector and the public sector. The private sector is not going to get involved unless they have assurances that the federal government isn't going to come in and steal the bag at the very end, just like they want to do. So I don't believe a word that this guy says.
Look at the Trans Mountain debacle.
Mm-hmm.
Why would a private sector company want to build a multi-billion-dollar pipeline in this country while you have a climate radical from the World Economic Forum who wrote a book called Values in charge of the country? And to add insult to injury, shoehorns that idiot stick Stephen Guilbeault back into cabinet, which is an agitation for Alberta. Our premier hates him like the Pope hates the devil. And yet, instead of trying to heal the relationship, puts him back into cabinet, and he can't stay in his lane. He won't shut up about climate change, even though he's the heritage minister. He's like, yeah, you're not getting any pipelines. You're the heritage minister. Get lost. Shut up. But he can't shut up about it until such time as someone asks him a hard question about it. Then he's like, oh, it's not my portfolio. How dare you? Which is basically what he did yesterday. So maybe he got in trouble. Maybe he didn't like the answer he was going to give, but he was asked about how much more conventional energy, i.e. oil and gas. So when they say energy superpower, what they mean is solar panels and wind turbines.
Yes.
They don't mean oil and gas. Just always remember that. They want unreliable green energy that causes rolling brownouts in the hot and the cold, so Canada all the time. That's what they mean when they say energy superpower. Don't let them play that game. So someone asked him, how much more conventional energy should Canada produce? Because Alberta's premier says we're doubling production and try and stop us. So let's hear what he had to say. All of a sudden, not so talkative. Difficulties. Bear with us. I promise it's a good clip.
We'll do some ASMR right now.
Okay, well, good.
Climate change. There were two mentions of climate change and commitments to continue moving forward on nature protection. As you will recall, during the election campaign, we committed to create 10 new national parks, 10 new marine conservation area, 15 new urban parks, and accelerate our achievement of our goals to protect 30% of our lands and waters by 2030.
How much more conventional energy does Canada need? That was in the third speech. How conventional energy? How much more conventional energy does Canada need?
I'm not the energy minister. I'm not responsible.
He's not the energy minister.
For nature.
He's not the energy minister all of a sudden. Like 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago, he said, actually, you guys don't need any pipelines. The ones you have aren't at capacity. Really? The industry says otherwise. Now he's like, don't ask me those questions. I'm not the energy minister, after giving a 90-second answer on climate change.
I think somebody hauled him into line, Sheila Gunn Reid, because the Stephen Guilbeault of years gone by would not have missed an opportunity like that to pop off on his green craziness in public. So I think that he probably got hauled into line. But something he said there should cause Canadians to pause just a little bit, put our thinking caps up, and wonder why he's saying this. So he said that they're going to concentrate on developing a bunch of new parks in Canada. And what I hear when he says that is the federal government is going to continue land grabbing from the people of Canada. So when the federal government gets involved in developing or in other ways taking land from inside a province and making it federal jurisdiction, well, we should all wonder why they are doing that, and we should all take a good hard look at the areas that they're developing, because they are going to take plum property from Canadians and make it theirs to their own ends. And I wonder why they are doing this now.
Well, I know is because these land grabs are a way to block oil and gas production. So remember the Great Bear Rainforest off the northern coast of BC? You couldn't build Trans Mountain through there because, not Trans Mountain, I'm sorry, Northern Gateway through there because it was the Great Bear, Spirit Bear. It's just a
National
white
Park.
Yeah, it's just a white black bear. But anyway, you couldn't because it was this protected rainforest. So that's what they do. And there's a group called, and I haven't talked about them in a long time because they sort of have been getting everything they want from the federal government anyway. So they didn't actually have to engage in a lot of activism. They were just in a whisper campaign into the ears of the likes of Stephen Guilbeault. But it's called Yellowstone to Yukon, like Y to Y. And it's their goal to make that entire tract of land protected to prevent oil and gas development on the eastern slopes of the Rockies, which is where Alberta does a lot of conventional oil and gas, and also to stop coal mining there, even if it's thermal coal or coal bound for export, that we would be offloading our emissions to China, I guess, at the end of the day. But that's their goal, is to turn that and use animals like the grizzly bear, animals like the black bear, stupid protected flowers, all that kind of stuff. So when he says we're going to start turning things into parks, I'm like, that's what you're doing now.
That's exactly what they're doing.
That's what you're up to.
Yeah. So Canada, not to say that we should be opposing any development of new national parks, but
I'm against parks.
we should be opposing any development of new national parks, because it's not for you, and it's not for us. It's for them. It's for them. Because you can't convince me that Stephen Guilbeault went from being Canada's most famous, most committed climate activist to some sort of nature lover overnight. Like, of course they didn't. It's a shell game. Right. They're baiting and switching right in front of us. And so, let's oppose some.
Yes,
some
I'm opposed to
parks.
I am generally. I don't think I should seek permission from the government to use the land that belongs to all of us. So I don't like the idea of a national park, and I live next door to one. And I am the company outdoorsman. I am the company conservationist, and I'm a farmer. A good portion of my income relies on the health of the land, right? So I do care about nature. I just don't think I need the government's permission to use it.
And that is exactly it. That is exactly it. When they develop a national park, or when they open a national park, you must pay to get in. You must abide by all of their rules. You must leave when they tell you to leave, and they mismanage it on top of all of this.
Jasper.
Right? And so this is not a great idea. I love Norway has a law, and it's basically a freedom to roam law. So everybody in Norway has the freedom to just roam all over. And as long as you're a good steward, as long as you're not, being destructive or in other ways disturbing the land, it is a person's sovereign right just to go out into the land and enjoy it. And that would be a much better idea. That would be a much better idea for Canadians than this national park brewing fiasco. Watch, they'll screw it up. They'll
I
screw it up,
wonder
Canada,
they will for
guaranteed.
sure. And on the flip side, and I'll be devil's advocate to myself, I guess, right now. During the Canada 150 celebrations,
Mhm.
the Liberals made national parks free. So what Sheila would want, I don't want the government charging me to use something that should belong to all of us.
Mhm.
But with it belonging to all of us, we all have an obligation to care for it. And maybe we are not a culture that cares for nature anymore. Maybe we are a culture that offloads the care of nature to the government, which is why a good portion of people still support carbon taxes. Because when I went to Elk Island, which I run in all the time and hike in there, I'm always using the park. I snowshoe in there like I live next door. Who wouldn't use it? The amount of garbage in that place during Canada 150, because
Of the increased population that was using it at that
and
time.
it was free. And it was free, so people weren't invested in it. So I don't know I'm playing my own devil's advocate.
But then again, Sheila, the government didn't think ahead to think to themselves, we are going to increase the visitorship to our park systems by 100-fold during this year because we're making it free. So
Right.
maybe we should use the Disney way of garbage collecting and put a garbage can every 100 steps. Maybe we should do, like, they didn't think ahead to manage their
should
own
have been
decision.
There were diapers in the lake, and I just remember
Oh.
being so mad, and I thought, you know what, the fines for littering in here should be like $20,000. I was very annoyed, but then I was like, this is why I pay for a Costco membership, isn't it? Like so I don't know. I'm of two minds. Look at how open-minded I am on this subject. We've got Andrew Scheer, whom I love as an MP, did not like as a leader, just giving it to Mark Carney over refusing to table a budget.
Let's
So,
go, buddy. Let's
go,
Power
guys.
dimples. Let's
Yep.
go.
Oh yeah, we need to give them a little bit of lead time. Okay, let's go.
There we go.
Since the election, Canadians have been inundated with grand rhetoric and pretty speeches from this Liberal Party, but they are still suffering under all those policies. Household debt up at record levels. Number of people who can't pay their mortgages increasing. Food bank use continuing to rise. Now TD Bank is forecasting a recession with hundreds of thousands of lost jobs. The PM said undoing the damage of the last 10 years would require great speed, but he's not going to table a budget for 6 months. If he's the man with the plan and the guy you hire in a crisis, why won't he table a budget before he goes on summer vacation?
Mr. Speaker, I understand the member of the opposition is very busy, didn't have a chance to study closely the 100-day plan of the former member from Ottawa, Carleton, which did not include a budget. Our plan includes legislating. Our plan includes legislating for one Canadian economy and nation-building projects immediately to grow this economy, and we expect the support from all in this House.
Oh, he expects the support of all in this House. I'm not sure he's going to get it. I think the Bloc are going to slow walk everything, as they said.
I really like the leader of the Bloc. Like, he is, as much as I disagree with him on almost everything, he is scrappy and is opposing. And he doesn't have that normal politicians luster where they tend to sugar
French thing.
He's very, very direct, and he's very direct about opposing the federal government where it doesn't suit the interest of Quebec. I don't think that he's going to get the support from the opposition, nor do I think that he's going to get it from the Bloc. And the Bloc and the Conservatives as a team is a really, like, they're an odd couple, but man, they would make a powerful couple.
Also, I mean, there's a difference between a brand new government being unable or unwilling to table a budget for over 100 days versus all the same losers in all the same chairs who have been looking at all the same books for the last 10 years. It's a little different, don't you think?
Yeah, it's a little rich to suggest that it's a brand new group, and they must have time to get their bearings and figure out the inner workings. They're all the
Carney
same people.
was the financial advisor to Trudeau, to pretend that now you need some time to get your feet under you to figure out what the government is doing. The government was doing everything you told them to do.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Well, and it begs the question, why are they being so disingenuous as it pertains to the budget? They know you know what? Because they know that it would cause such blowback that the people of Canada would not support the initiatives that they're planning on shoveling our money at. That's the reason why they're keeping it secret. That's the reason why they didn't table the budget, and they're just going to pass. They're just going to pass money spending bills through the Governor General, who has already done that twice, given them billions of dollars without any accountability. So, yeah, it's interesting. Way to go, Andrew Scheer. I like your dimples.
He was pretty good. Let's hear once again from the dimples from Regina Quappel. He calls out the Carney Liberals for being dishonest, running an elbows up campaign. We're going to fight with the Americans while quietly dropping the tariffs and just doing it all for theater. Just being like manipulating the boomers who don't know how to change their channel off of David Cochrane. I say it all the time. Children of Canada, if you ever want to own a home, you need to go to your grandparents' house and show them how to use the remote control. That's what you need to do. Anyways, let's listen to Andrew Scheer.
During the election campaign, it was elbows up as he put retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. Then secretly, he dropped those tariffs to effectively zero. But he didn't stop there. He told Canadians that the government would collect $20 billion in revenue from those tariffs and use it to cost his platform. Now that those tariffs are going to bring in $0, two quick questions. Why wasn't he honest with Canadians during the election? And how is he going to make up the shortfall? Is he going to borrow it, print it, or tax it?
Our tariffs have maximum impact on the United States, minimum impact on Canada, and dedicating all the revenues from those tariffs to supporting the workers and businesses affected by the unjustified American action.
What
is he talking about?
He just said you dropped the tariffs, and he's like, our tariffs are having maximum effect on the Americans. He just showed them you have a big hole in what budget you don't have, a $20 billion hole. Where's the money going to come from? Because he campaigned on having that $20 billion while also repealing the tariffs. And he's like, our tariffs are having maximum effect.
What tariffs? What tariffs? He dropped them in the lead up to the election, didn't tell anyone, campaigned on being big tough guy, rolled over for Trump and bit a pillow, and then claims that what he's doing is having maximum damage effect on our closest friends and neighbors and trade partners in the United States, while guarding our Saskatchewan, or not our Saskatchewan, our Canadian industry. What? Like what?
What is he talking about? He went on the campaign trail and said, our tariffs are going to bring in $20 billion, which we will then use to support the industries hit by American tariffs.
Yes. Most impacted. Yes.
All the while knowing that money was never coming in. He lied through his weird incisors. He did.
I'm so happy you mentioned that. His teeth are off-putting. His teeth are off-putting.
Look, you don't need to have $1 million smile, but I feel like that man is worth a lot of money and he could have some quiet orthodontic work done. So we've got Mark Carney repeats once again that Canada is in crisis, stressing that freedom is earned every day. No, our freedom is not earned. We have it. You're supposed to leave it alone. Anyways, let's listen to this because this is a gross misunderstanding of freedom in this country. And it is scary that this guy's in charge. He's the guy who's supposed to make sure that the government doesn't tromp all over your rights.
We are in a crisis. We can control our destiny. We are a brave, bold, confident nation. We are the true north, strong and free. But freedom is something you earn every day. And that strength is something we need to reinforce.
But how do you confront?
Who do I earn it from? How do I earn it? I get to keep it by not doing things that would result in criminality or something like that. But I don't earn my freedom. I have it. It's God given. This is not like you are free by virtue of being born a human being.
Right.
You don't earn it from Mark Carney.
Right. This is the language of a totalitarian ruler, Sheila Gunn-Reid. This is the language of somebody who is creating. So when was the last time the government of Canada said that there was a crisis, okay, used a crisis as the pretense for running roughshod over your rights and freedoms? When was the last time? Anybody remember when the last time that happened? He's fabricating a crisis to suspend your freedoms, Canada. That is what he is saying here. We are in a crisis, without acknowledging that the reason that we are that any crisis is happening in Canada is because of the policy and the direction of the Liberal Party of Canada and to the federal government. If any crisis is happening, it is their fault.
Yeah.
And yet we have to earn our freedoms every day.
That's the language of social credit, by the way. That's the language of social credit, that you have to earn freedom as though it's a privilege granted to you from the government. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. If you want that, China's already got it. Just head on over there. By the way, I can't believe we are 43 minutes into the show, and I didn't even tell people how they can support us, which is very embarrassing since this is the show I host 5 days a week. If you want to have your say, if you've got something to say about what we're saying, if you're watching us on Rumble, you can leave a Rumble rant. We will read it on air. If you are on YouTube, we are remonetized over there for the time being. So get in while the getting's good. Leave us a super chat, or if you want to support our work after the fact, if you're watching the pre-recorded version of this show, where we are 43 minutes in, 44 minutes in, and I'm realizing that I don't know how to do my job, you can leave us a super thanks in the form of a comment. That's their paid comment. And we appreciate you. I couldn't do the half-assed job that I've done today without the support of our viewers at home. And thank you so much for keeping us on the air. Okay, we've got Justice Minister Sean Fraser just bumping from problematic ministry to problematic ministry. He reacts to President Trump offering Canada access to the proposed Golden Dome missile system at no cost if we become the 51st state.
I'm not sure if you saw the statement from Trump yesterday, bringing back the 51st state rhetoric, but what do you make of the timing of it after the throne speech yesterday?
Well, look, I take my lead from the people that I speak to in my community and across the country, and it's very clear that people want us to stand up for Canada's sovereignty. Obviously, we want to partner with the United States where possible, but we do have to stand up for Canada's interest economically and from the sovereignty point of view. So from my perspective, we want to focus on the work to defend Canada's economy. That may mean engaging with the United States, but there's an awful lot that we can do here at home, and there's an awful lot that we can do with engaging partners around the world as well.
I think it sounds ridiculous, but I don't take anything that President Trump says too seriously. I don't think he even knows what the real cost of that is going to be. But we'll continue to do our investments in defense that we need to do.
He also brought up his 51st state talk for the first time in weeks, again yesterday after the King was here in Canada. What do you say to that?
He just wants to stir the pot and cause trouble. I think he's like a little kid who just likes to see how much trouble he can cause for his family.
Not helpful.
I can't wait. I for one can't wait for Trump to hear them say those things. Can't wait. Confidential to Donald Trump. The government of Canada does not think highly of you. Thinks you're juvenile.
A little kid. He's like a little kid.
Don't think you know what you're doing, Donald Trump. Ooh, that's problematic.
And here's the thing: they think that they're just going to get this missile defense system for free. Well, of course we have to pay for it one way or another. Trump is giving us two ways instead of just the one way of forking over the cash we don't have because Carney just blew a $20 billion hole in whatever money he thought he did have.
Yep. And never mind that Trump is talking about a missile defense system, and Sean Fraser then pivots to to protecting the economy. Well, the economy is not going to be doing well if bombs from some other godforsaken country sail over our northern border
China, Russia,
and plow into Canada, is it, Sean Fraser? Like that Donald Trump is concerned about this and taking threats to North American to North American safety and security seriously is something that I want in a leader. We've seen Canadian defense be completely ignored for the past 10 years. We see our military flying pride flags. Okay, we see them. We hear stories about them having to share sleeping bags. The defense of Canada's homeland has not been on the list of priorities for the Liberals, and it is on the list of priorities for Donald Trump, and something that I would like to see catch fire as it pertains to at least Western Canada.
I mentioned this yesterday, but let's just show it, because this is one of the reasons why it might be nice to have the Golden Dome, and that would be that I don't need the Chinese spy balloons lurking at me when I'm all disheveled after 3 beers mowing the lawn, okay? But in 2023, the Chinese spy balloon, or if you're Ben Bankus, spy baroon, it was Alaska, and then it went through the interior of British Columbia before being spotted in Montana, and then I think they shot it down over Montana after it had lurked on Canada for, I don't know, I bet you the better part of a week. Anyway,
this is our Canadian defense industry, you guys. We can have Chinese spy balloons floating over our country for days and days and days and days. And the government of Canada just thought, well, you know what?
They didn't even tell us.
No.
Once it hit Montana, that's right. They didn't really. Did they shoot it down? They waited till this is Biden's America, by the way. So the thing then traverses all of the United States from the tippy top of Montana, like Bellingham, where Canadians go to get cheese from the Costco, and then all the way across to just off the coast of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Holy Hannah. So it went across the entire continent.
The entire down, spied on BC, or waved at the Chinese foreign interferers in BC as they went by, and then traverses the United States, and then meets its untimely end, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Houston, we have a problem. Biden let it go across the United States. Trudeau didn't even tell us that it was like peeping on us. Yeah. There's a reason we need the Iron Dome. That should not be happening from a hostile state like China, and that's only what we know about.
That's only, and that there's the key word, Sheila. That is only what we know about. That is the one circumstance we do. Don't think that this isn't happening a million different ways from Sunday, because they know that we're not paying attention. They know that it's not a priority. You don't think foreign bad actors don't think that there's holes in Canadian military and defense systems? Of course they know it.
What do you think that balloon was about? Like, it was about testing how we would react and what was there. And I was like, did it go over the American nuclear sites? Probably.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's keep going. Ag Minister on the battle for the birds. Agriculture Minister Heath MacDonald, who I believe has most of X blocked. I should go check. The Ag Minister should not be blocking farmers and advocates like me. He's asked about U.S. officials like RFK and Dr. Oz weighing in on the impending execution of 400 otherwise healthy ostriches by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency because of some avian flu excuse.
As you know, there's a herd of ostriches in BC that are facing termination due to the avian flu, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is asking for them not to be terminated, and I believe the BC Premier is asking for some flexibility on the scale. What can you tell us, please, about this?
Well, I think we're in a process that with CFIA, and it's a due process, and we're taking all the facts into consideration, and we'll move forward on the best possible solution for everybody involved. And I certainly, obviously feel sorry for the farmers and that, but we also have the economic side to this. We have to protect other industries and sectors as well.
Have you been in contact with your U.S. counterpart on this at all?
No.
Do you have any concerns that the American administration is weighing in on the?
Well, I think, and I think if we follow Twitter or that type of thing with any major decisions that we're making here in Canada, I'm not sure that that's the appropriate course of action. So I think it's important to be relevant, and if those discussions are imminent, it would be better through conservation.
Are we considering their offer?
Just for clarity, they're all going to be killed?
The process is in place, not necessarily.
The process is in place and not necessarily. What does that even mean?
It sounded like a big word salad. It sounded to me like he was saying, right, Twitter is not the place to talk about these things, but I'm going to not avail myself to Canadian egg producers and to people who are talking about this pesky issue that I'm refusing to comment on. Like in the new country, Sheila, in the new country, if a politician uses social media to talk to the people that they were elected to represent, it will be illegal for that politician to block anybody on that social media platform that they're participating on, because what they're doing is creating an echo chamber where they never ever get bad feedback. But what this is going to take is the Americans getting involved in advocating for our ostriches. Okay, they belong to us now. They are the country's ostriches. They don't just belong to a farm in BC. They are all of our ostriches. We're adopting them. Yeah, but I didn't hear anything. That gives me any confidence that the government of Canada is going to advocate for egg producers, that this could happen to on any level.
Anybody.
So today it's the ostriches, tomorrow it's chickens, the next day it's pigs, the next day it's beef, and all of our egg industries could be destroyed because of the management of the federal government.
Yeah, it's crazy. In the new country, we will only execute ostriches who are guilty of crimes. But these ones, they're perfectly healthy. And there was no talk of reining in bureaucrats who are apparently out of control. None of that. Which is the problem here. They made a decision. It's bad. They'd rather murder 400 birds than admit they made a bad decision.
Yep. Yes, unelected bureaucrats doing unelected bureaucrat things. That's exactly. And with no accountability to the taxpayers or to the people that they are meant to serve.
Yep. We have a triple dose of cringe today. Why? Because we didn't have the daily cringe on Tuesday. We didn't have a live stream on Tuesday. So one of them comes by way of me. So everybody buckle down. The last segment of the show is just nothing but cringe. Your skin's going to crawl. You're going to wish you never heard it, but I'm here to make sure you do. First one, Manitoba government, be in the NDP. Yesterday I said, oh, you know what? I probably like Wob Canoe. And then I see this and I'm like, nope.
Never mind. I told you, Sheila.
I take it back. We get a second. We're being accosted by our own pop-ups there. But the Manitoba government claims full body hair removal is gender-affirming care. Hair removal on genitals and forearms, specifically highlighted in the document as necessary for surgical preparation. That's to give you an innie or an outie, as you know. The Manitoba government is expanding taxpayer-funded hair removal services for individuals undergoing gender-related medical procedures, including permanent hair removal on genitals, areola, face, chest, back, and forearms. And the forearms, of course, that's where you take the skin to do the innie.
Can we just explain to our viewers exactly what they're talking about? So if you guys have never if you guys have never seen the mutilation that happens during a phalloplasty, this is the building of an artificial penis. They take a strip of hair off of a forearm, okay, or sorry, not hair, a strip of skin, okay, the top layers of skin off of a forearm. They build a skin tube with it, thread the urethra through, and what results is the most monstrously disfiguring surgery than anybody's ever seen. I mean, pictures are available on the internet on the
Except
parts
the
of
other
Reddit.
surgery. The other surgery is equally awful.
Equally terrible. I mean, just barbaric mutilation.
It's Frankenstein stuff. It is.
Yes, by sadistic doctors. And the craziest thing is they all belong to WPATH. Okay, WPATH is the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. Canada has many thousands of doctors that belong to WPATH, but Manitoba is now doing, or is now going to cover, the prerequisite hair removal for these butcherous and mutilating surgeries for people that want access to gender affirming care. And it's not care, it's gender confusing harm is what
Here's
it
the
is.
part that really got to me. And
wait, is it the encroachment into women's rights? Is that it?
No, well, maybe. So as everybody knows, because they have eyeballs, I'm a woman of a certain age. Once you get to be a woman of a certain age, all of a sudden that cute little beauty mark has a witch hair growing out of it. Right? Or you catch yourself in the vehicle and you're like, excuse me, did I leave the house looking like a billy goat? What is happening to my body?
Here's a reason why women of a certain age have car tweezers.
I do now.
There is
I
a
do now.
reason. Yes. Uh-huh.
I do now, because I was like, I can't believe somebody sat across from me on the couch watching TV and looked directly at that hair and then let me leave the house like that, looking like an actual billy goat. Just like, anyway. And yes, this used to be a cute beauty market. Now it is a bramble patch of hair. And it happens to all of us.
Oh, the glamour.
That's fine. It's cosmetic, right? I'm not going to make the government pay for my this thing that rabbits get caught in. But here's what bothers me. Women with polycystic ovary disorder or ovary syndrome. So PCOS. Now a lot of a lot of people are saying it's an actual form of diabetes. But they frequently have distressing facial hair growth. And it's due to the hormonal imbalance caused by their condition, which is more common than people know, especially with, like lifestyle related conditions.
It is a very common. It's like some estimates are upwards of 20% of all women suffer from some form and some severity of polycystic ovarian syndrome. Yeah.
It's one of the leading causes of fertility problems in women. And so they all have this like bizarre hair growth, not age related. And they don't get this help. They don't get this help.
To affirm their gender, to affirm actual women don't get the coverage to affirm their natural gender. Yeah. But the gender and diversity crowd get the coverage to affirm their fake genders.
I'm out here buying my own tweezers.
That's right.
I'm buying my own car tweezers. I'm not your problem.
If you guys would like to buy us several pairs of car tweezers, please feel free to donate to Rebel News. We'll put it to good use.
I should have checked before I went on air. This one I love, because I love when the mainstream media gets caught being just lazy little monkeys. They can't even fact check. These people are the arbiter of truth, right? They're the one that will accuse you of being disinformation and stupid and falling for Russian propaganda or Israeli propaganda or whatever. Like, they're so dumb. They published a list of books that didn't exist as their summer reading thing. I love it.
She's the best.
But there's a little side quest in this. So if we go down.
Excuse me, sorry.
this is actually quite well written for the CBC. Good luck picking up the books on an unofficial summer reading list from the Chicago Sun-Times. Hoping to delve into the multi-generational saga Tidewater Dreams by Isabel Allende, for instance, keep dreaming. Maybe a science-driven story like Andy Weir's The Last Algorithm is more to your taste? The algorithm can't help you. Okay, then how about Min Jin Lee's riveting tale set in Seoul's underground economy, Nightshade Market. What a great title. Too bad the book doesn't exist. Because while the authors may be real, the books don't exist, and the Chicago Sun-Times is being roasted online for publishing an AI-generated list, the paper couldn't explain how the piece was published. We're looking into how this made it into print as we speak. It's not editorial content and was not created by or approved by the Sun-Times newsroom. It made it into the newspaper. Sounds like it was approved by you.
Yep, somebody did it.
We value your trust in our reporting and take this very seriously. More info will be provided soon. It goes on to say it's real authors, fake books, and they actually tracked down the person who like submitted this. They said they bought it from like a news wire, a lifestyle news wire.
Okay.
And hang on here. I'm just going to dig into what it is. I just love this story. When I saw it, I was like, I love every little bit about it. 15 of the 9 books listed just don't exist. And then, but how? Let's go down there. The list was generated by a freelancer, Marco Buscaglia, a Chicago-based writer, content strategist, and teacher. He confirmed that he failed to check what he gleaned using AI. These people are not even writing. Like, and you can tell there's some sort of, when you're reading AI generated content, there's a strong how do you do fellow kids vibe to it. Like it feels just a little bit inauthentic. The words that they use, they can't get the human voice quite right. Stupidly and 100% on me, I just kind of republished that list an AI program spit out, he said. Usually it's something I wouldn't do. Sure, you just got caught. I mean, even if I'm not writing something, I'm at least making sure I correctly source it and vet it to make sure it's all legitimate. And I definitely failed in that task. He asked a computer to give him a list, and then the computer did, and then he charged for that. And he didn't even do the most basic research on it. And then they go on to other instances of this happening out there in the world. They talk about, and it's so ridiculous that it like if I were reading this, I would be like, yeah, that's academia for you. That's how stupid these people are. Jennifer Campos, who is a professor of leisure studies at the University of Colorado, who asserted in the Journal of Contemporary Ethnography that the hammock has become this generation's frisbee on the quad, but except Jennifer Campos doesn't exist. So they even attributed quotes to her that hammocks function simultaneously as personal space and a communal invitation, allowing students to be alone together in public spaces. And it was like how this, like all of a sudden they're hanging hammocks at university, and that's the new kid culture. The whole thing was fabricated. They call this stuff AI hallucinations. This is why I'm scared of AI completely.
Yeah.
This AI generated Microsoft article. You guys are going to have to click through on this. It's down in the article somewhere.
So weird.
Microsoft pulled an article recommending the Ottawa Food Bank to tourists. An AI generated article. Although, you know what? Perfectly normal in Carney's Canada. Like it like given time.
Hey, do you want to go, Sheila? You want to go for lunch? Yeah, where do you want to go? The food bank?
The food bank. This is all we can afford. We spent all our money on tweezers. Yeah. Microsoft removed an article that advised tourists to visit the beautiful Ottawa Food Bank on an empty stomach.
Oh, that's funny. That
Yeah.
is funny.
Headed to Ottawa, here's what you shouldn't miss. And then they listed 15 must-see attractions to visitors in the capital.
Well, isn't that so telling though? Because AI is going to be looking at people's maps data and where they visit and where they go. And they were like, where to eat, and the food bank must have popped way high up on that list.
Right.
So that's actually really telling.
It's an indictment of Ottawa, actually.
Yes,
But
it is.
the entry simply described what the food bank does, but it closes with a bizarre recommendation. Life is already difficult enough. Consider going into it on an empty stomach.
Well,
I never. Isn't that wild?
It is wild. It is
AI
wild.
is going to take over the world, and everybody's going to get stupider, not smarter.
It is such a powerful tool. It is such a powerful tool, but it misses the complexity of the human mind and the human personality, like you
And
said.
context.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it
the robot in the computer only knows that you like to eat and that you like to save money. So
Right.
and it knows that a lot of people are going to the food bank. So it decided that's the best place to eat in Ottawa.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. There's a black mark on Ottawa. I mean, like Ottawa needs a bunch more
Right.
terrible things to befall it.
Find me a light spot in Ottawa.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, find me a bright spot in Ottawa.
Oh, that is the best.
God.
That
Okay,
is
we've got
the
one
best.
more video. And I haven't seen this. We're going in cold. What is this? It's a Stephen Guilbeault, Minister of Nature, making the Canada Day announcement. Okay, let's hear it.
Whether by keeping our elbows up, flying Canadian, exploring the best of our country has to offer, cheering on our favorite Canadian sports team. Shout out to the Oilers. We hope they bring the Stanley Cup home this year.
Get the Oilers out of your mouth.
Or proudly flying the Canadian flag at home. We've shown that we are proud, resilient, and strong. And we've learned that we are stronger when we stand together. And they will be live broadcast nationally on CBC Radio-Canada, platforms as well as on a big screen set up on the Supreme Court of Canada and on Parliament Hill. Of course, we will have the Tim Hortons Canada Day fireworks, which will also take place at Le Breton Flats, along with many more fun activities for all families. Moving to Parliament Hill, Canadian will experience classic Canadian traditions like the ceremonial guard band, the snowbirds aerial demonstrations, and the Royal Canadian Air Force pipes and drums. The lawn of the Supreme Court of Canada will be a chill zone where you can relax, watch the shows on the big screen, and even participate in a yoga workshop.
No, God,
You know,
no.
there's one thing that is
Lord.
crystal clear. Canada is not for sale and will never be. So this Canada Day, let's get together. Let's wave our flags with pride, wear red and white, and celebrate Canada, our country, loud, proud, and free. Thrilled to reveal 7 more legendary Canadian artists who will be part of these Canada Day celebrations. These incredible artists tell our stories, our history, and I can't wait for you to see them perform this Canada Day. Alors, ces artistes sont Sarah McLachlan, Cœur de Pirate, Josh Roche, Randy Bachman, Mitsu Dumas, et Ivan Boivin-Flamand. Ms. Sheldon, over to you. Merci. Thank you. Good.
What year is this?
I was going to say Saint Marie not available.
I literally wrote that down. I was like, where's Buffy?
It's a great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. No, Stephen Guilbeault. I won't be dressing in red or white. I won't be flying the flag. I will be paying attention to how much money you spend on this display of vanity for the people exclusively
you know
of
what?
Ottawa, Ontario.
Yeah.
Ugh.
On the flip side, all the artists he listed, I think they come cheap because what year is this? You know, like when you think about grand Canadian elbows up artists, I guess, you know, like there are some other ones like Shania Twain, maybe. Jan Arden. She's everybody's favorite wine aunt. How did I describe her the other day? I said she's straight out of Central Casting for a big pharma ad, for like a medicine called Chardonnay-Zapam, you know? And then you would have like the fast talking male voice listing all the side effects, like may include internet outbursts, crying, freaking out, anti-Alberta sentiment, and public
Unhinged
embarrassment.
vulgarity. Yes.
Yeah. But like, what year is this that we're trotting out?
Sarah McLachlan.
Tom Cochran. That man will play the opening of an envelope. Blue Rodeo. I'm indifferent. Mitsu.
Who?
Mitsu. French language from the 80s. If Mitsu's out there, I want to know.
Wait, I'm just downloading a thought from the 1980s. I have to go way back in the Rolodex to find it. But now that you say that, I sort of remember.
There was like Debbie Gibson, Tiffany, Mitsu. Mitsu was like the French version of like Debbie Gibson.
Oh, good. Randy Bachman. My goodness. They'd have to trot him out of the vast mausoleum he lives in.
Yeah, rock voisine, like that ancient.
My goodness.
If you are headed to Ottawa on Canada Day, friends, be careful. You're going to get attacked by a cougar because this is all cougar music.
Be careful out there.
Coug music. You're going to be
blinded. Canada.
Blinded by rhinestones is what's going to happen to you. Just be so careful. Check in on your friends.
Check in on your friends in Ottawa. No, there's no place I'd rather be. As a matter of fact, last year in Alberta, because we go to the Ponoka Rodeo, okay? But Sheila and I go to the Ponoka Rodeo. It is our summer. It's
a pilgrimage.
Hoedown is what it is. And it always falls on the Canada Day long weekend. And last year in rural Alberta, there was not one person, not one with the Canada flag or dressed in red and white. Not one.
Yeah. I think some of the cowboys wore red shirts, but not a ton. And the last thing that I want to do on a nice summer day is watch evil Harry Potter, Stephen Gilboa, stretching out his ligaments on the lawn of the Parliament. We're going to do yoga now?
His sinuous ligaments. Yes. Yeah, his vegan legs. That's what they think Canada needs, just to chill. To chill on the grass of the Supreme Court of Canada. Yeah, that's what they have planned for us. Oh, is Sheila frozen? She may be frozen. Am I frozen? Oh no, Canada. We've lost Sheila Gunn-Reid. She is frozen in time. Look at this. Okay, well, that was our last daily cringe for the day. Let me just go through and see if we have any chats to read. No, we do not. So listen, this our poor Sheila, her internet just crapped out on her. So now is the time where I get to thank you, Canada, for tuning in to the Rebel Roundup on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I'd like to thank everybody that works in the background for keeping this well-oiled machine running, for making us look and sound so good. And we invite you back tomorrow, same place, same time, with Sheila, and I think David Menzies will be here to join her. So thanks so much for having us, Canada, and we will see you tomorrow.